Welcome to an exciting edition of the Black and Gold Hour podcast, a podcast where we talk about none other than the New Orleans Saints. And today I just want to give my quick early reaction to the Saints' 20-10 loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There was a lot going on in this game. 5 turnovers by the team and some questionable calls by the referees once again in the Superdome. But let's kind of get into it. Let's recap really quickly. The first half, man, I thought the offensive line played a lot better than they did last week against the Falcons. I think the running backs, Tony Jones Jr., as well as Mark Ingram, were able to pick up the different blitz packages, giving Jameis time in the pocket to deliver some throws. And he was trying to deliver those throws, especially to Chris Olave, but he just wasn't connecting. He was overthrowing a lot of them, and he had fractures in his back. So maybe Jameis just was a little bit antsy in this game, and we could definitely see that as the game progressed. But in the first quarter, the defenses of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints were holding it down. The New Orleans Saints were doing their thing, and once again, Marshawn Lattimore was putting in work against Mike Evans. We even seen Kevin Durant tweet something like Marshawn Lattimore is teaching class every time he plays the Bucs, and that's what he was doing. Marshawn Lattimore was doing his thing and making his case that once again he is, if not one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But as the second quarter went on, the defenses continued to hold form, and the offense is kind of on both sides of the ball. We seen Brady throw another tablet, and we seen the New Orleans Saints offense struggle as well, man. So as we got into the third quarter, this is where things kind of took a tonal shift for me. As we got into the third quarter, man, the offense for the New Orleans Saints had a good drive going. It was now 3-3. It was tied up, and the New Orleans Saints were gaining momentum. And Mark Ingram fumbled the ball once again, man. And it brought me back to when Mark was first on the Saints. He's our guy. We know what Mark Ingram means to the New Orleans Saints, but he fumbled in a crucial situation, which was kind of like what happened in 2011 when he first joined the team. He will always fumble in crucial situations, and that's 2 fumbles in the last 2 weeks. Another complaint that I have about the New Orleans Saints right now, I won't say complaint, but something that definitely needs to improve is the pressure on the quarterback. I mean, the Saints defense played well, but Tom Brady was still able to deliver concise balls to his receivers. He just wasn't able to hit a lot of his targets, just like Jameis Winston and Chris Olave. He wasn't able to hit Scotty Miller as much as he was targeting him. So I think the New Orleans Saints definitely need to get more pressure on the quarterback and actually hit the quarterback. That's exactly what I want to see. I don't think he took a sack. If he did, it was probably 1. But the New Orleans Saints defensive line, they did their thing, but I definitely want to see more as the season progresses and they actually get to the quarterback. But that's something that the New Orleans Saints tend to struggle with. They tend not to get to the quarterback too early in the season, but it's just something that comes along as the weeks progress. Just like offenses have to get in a rhythm, so do defenses. As we got into the fourth quarter, that's where things really just fell all apart for the New Orleans Saints. Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans get into an altercation that caused both teams to collide. It looks like Marshawn Lattimore was going back and forth with Tom Brady. Tom Brady said something to him, and he got into it with Leonard Fournette. And once again, just like in 2017, Mike Evans comes out of nowhere targeting Marshawn Lattimore, blasting him. You know that was building. That was something that they've been going through for the last 5 years. And it's like, man, I don't understand why Marshawn got ejected, to be honest with you. I really don't get it. I feel like Mike Evans should have been the only one ejected, but they always are going to make it 2 players. And I think that Marshawn Lattimore he being guilty by association with Mike Evans. Mike Evans targeted him, and they were kind of in the middle. But it seemed like Marshawn Lattimore was doing his thing, joined with Leonard Fournette or whatever. Mike Evans comes out of nowhere and causes a whole scuffle. I'm like, really what was happening was Marshawn Lattimore and originally Tom Brady were just jawing, no touching. And then Leonard Fournette kind of got into it. And Marshawn Lattimore, defending himself, that's what he did. But Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore, you already know what that is. It's a great matchup. And Marshawn Lattimore was giving him work once again. But the game continues, and the New Orleans Saints offense was continuing to struggle. Jameis Winston was targeting Chris Olave 10-plus times during the game, and he was unable to hit him. I think he maybe caught 4 or 5 targets, and his last target ended in a fumble, one of our many turnovers of the day. Jameis had 3 interceptions. All of them, none of them were really good throws. None of them were really good decisions. And it was kind of Jameis trying to save the day. And I think he got back into that Tampa Bay Bucs kind of Jameis mindset where he feels like he had to save the day. But the game was still close and it was still within our reach. So I didn't really like any of the interceptions that Jameis threw. But then The New Orleans Saints did get a horrible penalty called their way. The New Orleans Saints were able to make a stop against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back when the score was 3-3. And Bradley Roby came in for a clean hit on the tight end and was called for a personal foul for helmet to helmet. That was a very questionable call. Like, if not questionable, that was a bad call. And that kind of changed the tide for the game. That kind of took the wind out of the sails of the New Orleans Saints, essentially. The Saints were not able to regroup after that. Tampa kind of gained momentum, and the interception started to run in for Jameis Winston. Going back to that play, I never like to blame the game on the ref. Like, hear me, I play sports. I never like to blame the game on the ref. Mark Ingram's fumble was also critical. But that call against Bradley Roby, that was a momentum swing kind of call, and it definitely cost the New Orleans Saints. Give it to the Bucs. Their defense did do their thing, but the New Orleans Saints were able to, they had many chances and opportunities to close this game and kind of spread the score and take advantage, but they were unable to. We got to address the offense. The offense has to get a lot better. The offense has to find a way to score early and bounce on the team. It kind of is like the last few years where the defense is doing their thing and the offense is just unable to start early, to have a quick start, to get in a groove. We seen Michael Thomas, he was able to make some amazing catches, but the offense just has to be better. I really think the Saints should have stuck to the run a little bit more, but it was just one of them games that's kind of a head scratcher right now. The Saints lost 20-10 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you know, the Saints look good overall. These are two teams that I definitely believe will be in the playoffs. But, I mean, this was a head scratcher. There's a lot to blame. There's a lot of blame to go around. And there's going to be a lot of things this team needs to take a look at and self-reflect on as we go into this week. But the New Orleans Saints do have a matchup next week against the Panthers, who did take a loss to the Giants. Man, this is just my quick reaction, man. This is one of those frustrating games. It's just a frustrating game, but it was one of those divisional games that just, man, like, this is just my early reaction. I'm not too upset about the game because, I mean, the New Orleans Saints had every opportunity to win, and just a couple of things that you don't see too often from the Saints. Mark Ingram fumbling in critical situations. He hasn't done that in the last few years as a running back, and, you know, just Chris Olave and Jameis Winston weren't able to really connect, and maybe that has something to do with Jameis's current injury and his injury in the offseason. He wasn't able to really build a good rapport with the receivers, but, man, this defensive line got to find a way to get pressure and put hits on the quarterback more. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But this team is 1-1 right now. They weren't able to get the victory, man. I'm actually in Tampa area right now visiting my family, so I don't even want to go outside right now. But you know what it is, man. Two good teams, two good quarterbacks, but the Saints need to find a way to get the offense gelling, and the defense needs to get to that quarterback. But this has been a quick reaction of the New Orleans Saints 20-10 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll be back next week. Who dat? Peace.